Hi out there. What a pleasure having you at this auspicious time in our nations and the nations of the world. COVID-19 pandemic has come to be a future that is turning the whole world upside down. Nations of the world are not spared. Individuals, families, homes, and society are also in the saddle. Various lockdowns, isolation, and all other hygienic strategies and protocols have been put in place in order to flatten the curve of COVID-19 pandemic. My name is James Komolafe, and it's a pleasure welcoming you courtesy of the School of Articulation and Behavioral Alignment Resources, also known as SABA Resources. In this episode, I will be sharing with you combing strategy and contact tracing against COVID-19 community spread. Our government is doing a whole lot, just like other nations are doing. But we like to see the people's side of the ordeal. 21 ways to flattening the curve. What are the 21 issues around the family responsibilities among the communities and also in the neighborhood? We're doing this because sooner or later, government policies and projections are likely to change. Government will relax the issue of lockdown because we cannot continue to lock down people's livelihood while trying to also save lives. So since the government announced the lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic in Lagos, Ogun, and FCT, Nigeria, the spate of transmission of the virus has changed its locational address. The issue of community transmission has become a major front burner in all platforms. In an attempt to flatten the curve of transmission, social or physical distancing, coughing or sneezing into tissue paper or by your arm twist, and disposing of the same immediately, the washing of hands constantly with alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and the minimizing of visits and unnecessary interstate travels, among other hygienic protocols, have since become a thing of compulsion in the communities. The slogan, "Stay at home, stay safe," has also been reeling through the virtual, the visual, and the electronic media. All this plethora of regimen in the behavioral balance constitute the necessary conditions. However, the communities and families in particular must bear in mind the following sufficient conditions if we must mitigate the spread of the infection in real terms, and that across board. So we'd like to share together 21 family responsibilities to flattening the spread of COVID-19 at community level so that we can prevent, because prevention till tomorrow is better than to cure. So what are the 21 things you need to know in your family to keep safe during the lockdown and after the lockdown? Number 1, you need to know that every family is susceptible to COVID-19. What does that mean? Every family must know that COVID-19 pandemic has relocated its address from the streets, offices, roads, shops to the communities and right there in the neighborhood. Since the lockdown has been slated by government and COVID-19 virus has no leg of its own, foot of its own except its host, so everybody reclined back to the homes and houses. So any victim of COVID-19 pandemic will possibly be in the family units and in the homes. So that awareness must down on everyone. Point number 2, lockdown in isolation amidst families can either translate the neighborhood to a concentration camp for COVID-19 or a careful coven for a consensus there to kill the virus as soon as possible. So it all depends on us, what we allow and what we disallow in our various homes and families. Point number 3, every family in the community is at the center of it all now. As far as responsibility is concerned, as a family, you don't need to wait for anybody to do the needful. It is a call to life and lifestyle modification. Number 4, at the family level, a triangular approach of cooperation, consensus, and carefulness must be critically observed so that we do not leave any stone unturned as to allowing for gaps whichever way. The family is thus positioned at the apex of the triangle, while some other critical stakeholders like the health officials and some other people who could possibly come around maybe to carry out some certain repairs or not necessarily must be carefully put under watch, because anybody could be a carrier of COVID-19 virus. Point number 5, you must also know as a family or individual that whoever comes into your house is important, and what goes out of your house per time is also critical at this time of pandemic lockdown in isolation. Number 6, infection possibility and contact tracing begins from you in the family. Be assertive, preventive, without being resentful to critical supports, as at Wendy. 7, taking charge and keeping to all the precautions at COVID-19 lockdown is a necessary condition, while definite strategy to ascertain infection and contact tracing in the home constitute the sufficient condition. Issues number 8. Your aim as a family is to package your home to manage every situation well without damage to anyone and to anything. So take responsibility without a feeling of liability. Number 9. Avoid in the family and in the communities any crowd around your vicinity. COVID-19 or not, keep your home front very safe and hygienic. Charity still begins at home. Point number 10. Whatever happens in your home can go ahead to affect the whole community by the theory of contagion. The good, the bad, and the ugly can be experienced. Point 11. When you take care of your own triangle, it will impact on other family in the triangle, in the large community cycle. So see your own triangle in a big circle called the community. So everyone in the family has 2 touch points on the circle of the community, while the family is at the epicenter of that big circle. Point number 12. Censor and sieve everyone coming into the family on any ground, necessarily. Maybe to offer some sort of support there. At times you could have some basic repairs to do. Please don't just allow anybody into your home or houses now. 13. Stringent measures via sensitization and mobilization must be put in place to ensure sanity and sanctity of the families and every member of the family. 14. Knowing the dangerous nature of COVID-19 infection, health challenges within the family setup must be urgently addressed in order to avert infection so that we do not give room to the pandemic in our homes and families. Number 15. To prevent the seed of COVID-19 infection in the homes and in the family units, the 3 variables within the family must be addressed, explained, and redirected. What are these 3 variables? Number 1, the ability within the family must never be deployed to negatives, because negatives are developed in the dark room. So let's channel our abilities right on the positive to know that things will be fine. Don't entertain unnecessary fear in the family. Channel your abilities, your emotion, and your passion well. Then the second thing is the activities. All our activities in the families must be targeted towards keeping social distancing, physical distancing, and the proper hygienic protocol that will keep us in shape per time. Then the reality factor. The reality on ground must be explained to every member of the family and the relations around us. Those are the issues there. Point number 16. Every family needs to know that a single lapse can invade an individual within the family, and that can set up invasion for everyone in the locality. Therefore, care and caution must never be thrown to the wind. You certainly don't need a whole box of matches before you set the world on fire. One stick of match will do that job, and that very effectively. So please be careful. Point number 17. Children and other vulnerable within the family setup must be engaged with certain routines for proper monitoring and interaction during this time and afterwards. 18. All attention needed must be put on the families through acceptable carrot approaches that will make them yield to health and medical support upon arrival to their homes and localities. 19. Every detection or presumption about infection in the families must be immediately considered for self-isolation, while serious cases are reported on time in order to accord quick responses and prevent the further spread of COVID-19 pandemic in the communities. Point number 20. Every family in the triangular model relates principally to the society at 2 critical touch points on the circle. So they must ensure that such relationships in the community circle must not compromise healthy standards or the set out hygienic protocols. Last but not the least, point number 21 for the families and the communities. Heavy government presence and the synergy of private sector-led initiatives and support in the communities must quickly harmonize to give the families every affordable psychosocial supports in the neighborhood. This will by and large cushion the effect of lockdown at this season. What's the last line here? Prevention is always better than cure. Every household and family must make up her mind to fight clean the incidences of infection, whether in the lockdown or outside of the lockdown. Please stay safe at this time as we observe all the hygienic protocols. Africa shall be saved. The world out there shall be saved. And Nigeria has a greater future. Thank you so very much. Please keep safe. See you at the other side of COVID-19 pandemic in health and in strength. Thank you very much and bye. For further information and behavioral supports on COVID-19 and some other emotional realities, feel free to reach me on my WhatsApp number +234 8035 999 220, or send me a message on my Gmail account, James1, that's number, James1KOM @gmail.com. Thank you so very much and see you next time.